This episode of Everything's Not Black and White is brought to you by LBB Edutainment, where culture strategy meets real human connection. Whether you need an engaging keynote speaker or hands-on leadership training, LBB Edutainment helps teams align their values and navigate real workplace challenges. Learn more at lbbedutainment.com or connect directly with Lachandra at 1-614-706-LALA. That's 1-614-706-LALA. Ever hear a backstory that completely changes the way you look at the world? Welcome to Everything's Not Black and White with your hosts, Lala and Brian. We're stepping into the gray area to uncover the unexpected perspectives and lived experiences you didn't know you were curious about.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode. Today's guest is someone very special, my homegirl, Varsey Laurelle. We get mistaken for each other all the time because we're two tall, delicious chocolate ladies, and we've partnered on many projects together over the years. We've shared many great conversations, more than I can even count. And she's also a kick-ass mama to two beautiful kiddos. Varsey is a cultural change strategist, founder of Varsey Laurelle Enterprises, guided by her own set of core values and her present continuous leadership philosophy centered on time, energy, and presence. Today, we're talking about identity, transition, and what it means to build a life and a workplace rooted in belonging. Please welcome my girl, Varsey Laurelle. Welcome to the gray area.
Thank you for having me.
We love having you. Are you kidding me?
So honored to officially share this space with you.
Oh, we're going to have a ball.
Yes,
we're going to have a ball
I can't
today.
wait. I can't wait.
The audience is in for a surprise.
Let's
and,
go.
And delight for the surprise. So let's get started, right? So your title, you are a cultural change strategist. Okay. So walk us through what that actually means day to day and how it's different from a typical HR or DEI role.
First, I'll say HR is very much for the organization. I mean, no matter how you try worked in HR, no matter how you try to face it, angle it, I care. Yes, you care up until, right?
Facts.
DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I like to think of it as DEI is a tree in the forest of culture. So if I only focus on DEI, I'm missing so much more. And then obviously in today's day and age, just the language alone gets people to shut down and close their ears. So I want to come in a space and use language that's more open and expansive that people can understand. So I'm hitting it from those two angles as well. So when I think about culture, I think about a group of people. And if we take Brian out, the culture shift because now it's just you and me. If we add some people into this, the culture just shifted because now there's two more people in.
That's right.
Right? And so what does it look like to recognize the culture that we have, recognize the individuals that make up the culture, and then how do we intentionally transition, navigate, and change knowing all these truths?
Yeah.
And so the strategy part is like, okay, let's bring all these things together and really identify based on our values, based on who's in the room, based on our goals and where we want to go. What changes and shifts and awarenesses do we need to have head and heart alignment in order to move forward?
Yeah.
And that's as an individual, if I'm coaching an individual or if I'm advising or facilitating for a team or organization.
Yeah, that's spot on. And I say this all the time, it's why people think we're the same person, which I love, but that's a whole nother story.
Great compliment.
But it's a great compliment for me as well. You know, two of the things that you said to me that really stand out is around the values alignment. So number one, I think a lot of times companies put those pretty plaques on the wall, and they look so cute, and they might mention them in the first time of orientation or onboarding, and then you never hear them again. And then you definitely rarely see them in action. So what is it that you think is the disconnect for folks with having what those values purport on the wall and what they're actually trying to influence and produce in the workplace?
Yeah, so thinking of culture / society, we are a society that loves to act like. Or talk like. But we don't really put any energy on being like.
Ooh, child.
Right? You know, and I take me as an example. I used to love to say how integral I was until I used to have this, like, I worked in retail, and I stole one of the tag guns, and I used to swap tags at the store to get a deal.
Okay.
But I had integrity, though. But only when people were watching and knowing.
Girl.
You know?
Fact.
So it sounded good.
Right.
I felt good saying it.
Yeah.
But in the shadows, right,
Right.
alone with myself, I knew. And so I think it's hard to actually do the thing you
Right.
say you are. It's easier to just say that you are.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the disconnect is the work,
Yeah.
the action.
Ooh, girl, that's it. I laugh because I told people, a while ago when they invite me to come in, I said, okay, so I'm going to come in and talk to your team. Then what happens? Because otherwise, it's just a nice, pretty speech, and it makes no movement. Like, so what are you all planning to do after I leave? And it's like you can employ me to help do that, or you just need to be thinking about it because you need some outcomes that go beyond this one-time event.
This is why we are so in sync, because 100%, no matter what offering I'm providing, there is always action items. Because to your point, I get at the root issue of things. I don't put Band-Aids on a heart that needs a transplant.
Right.
So what are we actually doing away from this 1 hour coaching session, 3.5 hour workshop, intentionally action items, and then maybe we're checking back in. Who's holding me accountable?
Yep.
How am I holding myself accountable?
Yep.
Am I recognizing the things that are going to make this really hard?
Right, 100%. Yeah. So I get that. One of the other things that you said that I thought really resonated with me is around getting the culture and the folks to work together, understanding leadership and the employees. But a lot of times the employers have designed something that they think the employees want, but have never really engaged them. And I often go into places, I say, employees want things done with them, not to them. So how are you helping them navigate how to understand inclusion and centering those folks who are most impacted?
Oh, I love that. One of the first steps that I do in any offering is cultural assessment. And depending on the size of the organization, there might be a survey or it might be just a one-on-one listening session if it's a smaller team, because I want to hear directly from the source. I want to hear from the people. What are the people saying? And it's really helpful to have a third party, right? Because as a leader, you're only going to get so much of the truth.
Correct.
Just because of your role, your title, your influence, right? And so I just want to listen. And a lot of times, like you said, we think we know. Even I think of parenting. I think I know what my kids need and want, but I don't really know until I am brave enough to ask. Because here's the scary thing. If you ask, you then have the information, and now you either do or you don't do. Right? Like awareness is one of those, the most dangerous place to be, the most powerful place to be, because you can either be aware and do something with it, or you can be aware and say, well, that's just how I am.
That's right.
Right? And so I think that becomes the bravery too, is like, oh, I have to be aware enough to know that there's a question that needs to be asked, that it's not me as the leader needing to know all the things.
Right.
And then I have to ask the question and do something with the answer.
100%. I often say knowledge without application is just noise.
Love that. It's so true.
It's so true. So what do you own it for if you're not going to actually do something with it? 100%.
That's right.
I'm very curious because you have this beautiful philosophy about present continuous leadership. And I really want to understand what that is. And I want our audience to understand what that is.
Okay. First off, I have to say I am a grammar nerd.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So verbs.
Yes.
And the present continuous version of a verb has an ing at the end. Right? So verb is an action word. Okay. And then the ing means you're in it. You're in the present moment. It's happening. Right? It's not past. It's not future. It's present continuous. So I love that, because a lot of times we think in change that it's the past or it's the future. But change is a continuum. And the hardest, the grayest part about the change is when you have a foot in two places. It is when you're like, it's not working, and I'm used to what was, but now, right? And so you're in the happening. You're not trying, you're not waiting, you're in it. And so I love that when I think about leadership as a discipline. And so when I think about my present continuous leadership philosophy, it's really based on those three things you mentioned earlier: time management, because we all have these 24 hours, but we get to decide what we want to do with them, right? Acting out our values in that, what we give our energy to. Is it draining? Is it fulfilling? So we were talking off recording, and we were talking about our spheres of genius, which fuels our energy, versus the deep thinking, planning, strategizing. No, please. And then the third one is our presence, which is really just meditation, is how we practice presence. right? And just being here in this moment, not thinking about that 11:30 call. What am I doing for dinner? Just trying to be mindful and here. And I think when we operate in those three things, one, it challenges us to make decisions based on our values, holding those things in mind. And it really moves us towards this version of ourselves that we're striving to be.
I love that. There's just two things again that stand out. You just keep dropping all these nuggets because then I just want to go on a rabbit hole on all of them. But one of the things around presence, and a lot of times you go into these organizations and they're like, we are so busy. Everything's a priority. I don't have enough time in the day. I don't even have time to even stop and have lunch. I have to eat at my desk and all these things. And I'm almost curious around, people say they're busy, but I don't know if they're productive. Because we say we got a lot booked and busy doing what though? Because that's my question, especially around your comment around time management. We do have only a certain amount of time in the day, but how are we actually spending it? And are we spending it on the right thing?
That's right. That's right. Because again, our culture puts so much pride on productivity and doing and busy, right? Even when, it's so wild. I thought about this. Even when I'm off work. Now I'm planning my vacation. Now I'm preparing a meal. I'm never just being, right? Because we don't put a lot of energy on that. We think we're being lazy. We're wasteful. There's a list of things we could be doing. And to your point, I think just carving out like, what do I need to do? And what do I need to delegate to others?
Absolutely.
Right? I think about this as a leader, right? I want to own everything. I don't have trust. So if I do it, I know it'll get done. I know when it'll get done. But if I give it to you, will it look like the way I want it to look like? Does it need to look the way I want it to look? Can it just be done by this deadline if I give a clear deadline? I think about with parenting, it's right, wait a minute, I have a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old. One of them loves to cook. I hate cooking. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have to do that anymore, right? The environment is now telling me that there's something that I can release. But if I want to control, if fear is guiding everything, then I'm going to stay busy and I'm going to be my own problem.
You just put a spotlight on, I think, a lot of leadership challenges, even with people not thinking they are a leader just because they don't have a certain title, which is always problematic to me. I'm like, baby, you a leader when you came out the womb. You leading yourself, you leading your decisions,
That's
you leading
right.
your choices.
Influencing others.
100%. And so part of that leadership is if you have not been trained in the practice or even understand who you are, because I love authentic leadership. Love it, love it, love it. Because that means you see yourself fully, clearly.
That's right.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. When we all have all three of them, by the way.
Yes.
You know, I have a personal philosophy that there are no good and bad humans. There are human beings who make good or bad choices that either impact them or others. And that's how I feel about that now. Because there's no line of delineation on how many good things can you do to be good and how many bad things you do to be bad. Because we know bad people do good things. We know good people do bad things.
That's right.
So that's a challenge.
I love that.
So when you think about that, and back to your doing piece, I often say we're human beings, not human doings.
I love when you say that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But we always, even when somebody says, oh, tell me about yourself, the first thing you want to say is the job you do.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, I want to know who you are.
Yep.
And I think there's that fear that you mentioned earlier that people are afraid for people to know the truth about them and what that would either put them in isolation or condemnation or something. What do you think might be holding people back?
We're afraid to know the truth about ourselves. I mean, when I started this healing journey, I explicitly remember I was a box checker. We've talked about this, checking all the boxes. Because it's supposed to be a pot of gold. Where the gold at?
Ain't no gold in them bar
I done graduated high school, college, master's, married, house, kids. Where the dog even? Where the gold?
Right.
Where is my gold? So then there was this moment that I was looking in the mirror, and I was like, okay, she cute, like skin is popping, this and that. Let me look a little bit longer, And I busted out crying because I started seeing, oh, you manipulate, all these things. Oh, you lied. Oh, you didn't want to deal with this yourself. And it was the truth. It was the truth that I was afraid of. Because again, to our earlier point, it's easier to say than to be.
That's exactly right. And you don't have to deal with it if you don't really look at it.
If you don't look at it, it's just in the closet.
Yeah.
And you can just close that door. It's in the basement. Don't look in the basement. No one goes in the basement.
I don't know if you ever follow Lachandra Brown Duckett. She is one of the only Black female CEOs on the Fortune 500.
Okay.
She's for TIAA. She used to work for JP Morgan Chase. But I saw her speak about 10 years ago, and she says something all the time that just resonates with me. She says, "My title is rented, my character is owned." When you just spoke about that, that just made it so relevant for me to think about that, is that we own that, and how we act upon it, how we think about it, how we navigate through it, all of that is that leadership building. And if we're not actively taking that time to do it, then, as my other friend Elizabeth says, we will always bend in submission to somebody else because we don't know ourselves.
That's right. Leading yourself is primary. I mean, that's really what the work is all about, right? It's like, how do I lead myself and be intentional about who I'm inspiring and influencing, and how I'm inspiring and influencing.
That's right. And being even to admit it. Like, I love the fact that you're talking about who you saw in the mirror. Because, honey, I say that all the time. I'd be like, girl, you could be trifling as hell. What is going on? Like, as wonderful as you are, you could be just as trifling. Why?
I can second that.
Listen, heifer.
Not heifer.
This mofo here, y'all. Listen, chiming in the wrong spot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well timed.
I got to pick my spot.
Pick them wisely. Now, don't get in trouble when this is over.
I'm just trying to give you affirmation.
That part. Thanks, babe. Appreciate you. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love about you is, first of all, you have such a beautiful presence. Your presence when you are present is so magnanimous. I knew it the first time I met you, and I was like, oh, we got to know each other. And I'm so grateful that we do. But I love also that you have this multicultural background that I would love for people to know about. So can you tell us about who you are, my friend?
Yes. Okay. I am a very proud Bahamian American. I am the firstborn American citizen on my mom's side of the family. Like, intentionally had me here for a better life and the dream of the American way. It's interesting. So my mom was the first one to come over. Her immigration story is she was in pageants, and so she won Miss Bahamas, and that got her a full ride to college. That was the only way she was going to get to college. And so she came over, and then the rest of the family followed her 6 younger siblings and my grandma, her mom. We migrated from Florida, ended up in Ohio. Pretty sure there was some labor trafficking involved. That's a side note. And even though I was in America, I was in the hood, I was Linden, I was 22nd in Cleveland, it was a Bahamian household. Like, all the culture, all the food, all the belief systems was all Bahamas. And we used to go back often. And so that gave me... It was interesting because I look like I'm Black, pure. I talk like I'm Black, pure, right? So, like, going to school, it was different. It was different because I didn't watch the shows that kids watched. I didn't know the history, the things. Like, I had to learn Black American culture on my own. I think God has put me in a position, source. I've been trying to say source instead of God. Source has put me in a position that my calling is very clear. Like, I am used to being in different spaces with different people.
Yeah.
And having to navigate and read the room and study people behavior and discern things just to belong. And so always posturing myself in a way of like, ooh, can I have a seat at this table? But it's now shifted to, here is my table. I come with the table, right? And how can I make a safe place for everyone to join, whoever feels compelled to join.
Yeah, I love that about building your own table, because it's funny, I grew up in southern Georgia, which, being a southern Black person is very different than being an inner city Black person in America.
Yes, it is.
And I try to tell people this all the time, like, the Black experience is not a monolith, right? We have so many different experiences in this country. And I think it's really interesting, to your point, coming to America and feeling like an outsider because you didn't know all the certain cultural, nuances. I had the same even in the South because I was very curious. I'm very intelligent. Thank you very much.
Period.
And I love learning. But even in the time I grew up in the 70s and 80s, I was called white girl all the time.
Same.
For being educated. And that bothers me still to this day thinking about it, because it's like, oh, Black people cannot be smart. And I'm like, what? Come on now.
Yep.
So I had to navigate a lot of that.
Yeah.
Even with my eclectic movie and music choices, I was listening to Def Leppard alongside of Luther Vandross, right?
On.
I mean, listen.
The Cranberries used to be my
baby.
thing. Yes.
So I always find it so fascinating when people say this is what Blackness is, and I struggle with that. and I've had that conversation with Black British citizens and Black Americans and even Africans who come to America. And so I'm always curious about that experience for other people. Like, what have you seen that has been, I love that you say you brought your own table, because I think sometimes it's just ineffective to try to match yourself to somebody else. You're like, look, I got a table over here. Y'all want to be with me? Be with me. And that's kind of how I feel about it. And I just was wanting to know if that's kind of similar to what your thought process is.
Yeah, and I think too, I feel very compelled to share. Like, and even still, I struggle with like Black enough. Because you got the pro Black. Everything is Black. Everything is this, and I'm like, am I failing? Am I missing something?
Right.
Like, should I be more? And I think it's as an individual and as a culture, creating safety in however you show up. You are Black.
Right.
I mean, I shouldn't have to prove anything to anyone.
Correct.
Yeah. Did that answer?
Yeah,
Did that
it
answer
does.
it?
Okay, I think we just have an obsession with race and culture. I mean, I will say,
Yeah, we
obviously,
do.
being married to a beautiful, unmelanated man.
Not unmelanated.
I'm melanated challenged. I told you
He
that.
got the blue eyes and everything, honey.
I mean, everything. Like, people question whether or not I'm pro-Black enough because I married a white man.
Woo.
Oh, girl, that comes up all the time.
That's
I
real.
think it's interesting because as a white person, I never think about, am I white enough? What is white enough? Like,
So wild.
I don't even understand that.
So wild.
The concept is just foreign to me.
So wild. But you know what? Even to your point, in this work, I'm still a part of the problem because I have a friend. So talk about like pro-Black, pro-Black, went to visit her in Atlanta. The husband is white. I said, I would have never thought that. How? Why? All the questions, right? All the curious questions. But it's so beautiful because, again, it doesn't mean anti-white. It
does
doesn't
not.
mean only Black.
That's right.
Right?
That's
if
right.
anything, it means, duh, I'm not surprised that I'm with someone that's not Black because I truly just see people.
That's right. I'm with all people. If you are down with the cause, I'm down with you. Period.
That's right.
I don't care
That's
what
right.
you look like. I don't care what you
That's
sound
right.
like. I don't care who you love.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's facts.
I was going to say, white people like to say, I don't see color. That's my bar.
They do. They do. I'm going to hit them with that one time. So I'm going to hit a white person with that one time.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
And report back. Let us know
I
how that
definitely
worked
am.
out.
It's a goal for sure.
I'll tell you,
I would shock the shit out of them.
It would be very funny. There's a very funny BuzzFeed video. I'll have to send it to you later about that. Well, how people of color are talking to white people like they talk to people of color. It's hilarious. I'll send that to you.
I will say,
very
I
funny.
try too. I'm like, how authentic? There's different versions. You kind of gotta, you gotta read the room all the time, right? But I try to come at some white people a little bit how I come with my friends at
Yes.
home.
Yep.
It always feels weird, and I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
Sometimes it feels weird.
Sometimes
Not
it feels
always.
weird. It depends on the generation, I think. Because some of my Gen X friends, they just watch everything like I watch. They watch different world like I watch different
That's
world. They
right.
watch different things. So
That's right.
we're just
They're
feeling
already
each other
exposed.
They're
It's
already
like
exposed.
I'm not the only representative of the culture.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. 100%.
Yeah.
So one of the other things I love about you, Varsey, is that you're always in the community, giving back and doing beautiful, beautiful things. And I know you're on the board of Freedom a la carte. So I would love for you to talk about freedom and what that board work means to you.
Oh, man. You know what? First, I will say, too, it's wild because I never thought I would actually be on a board because I think of like an old rich white man when I think about a board member. And I'm none of those things. So it was interesting to even be presented with the opportunity. And the first thought was, me? Right? And then as I leaned into, obviously, more confidence for myself, doing it afraid, I also leaned into, what does this work mean? And like, how do I support this work? So we support the survivors of sex trafficking. Tends to be mostly women that identify. And we support in a lot of different ways. Obviously, like coming straight from court. We support with housing, food, workforce development, and just really the full spectrum of the human, therapy, resources, mentor, all of that. I love that because to me, it's very much aligned with, one, seeing everyone's fullness and accepting everyone's story. I think as a culture, me included, can be very hierarchy based. And so I love being connected to different versions of our society that I might not usually have access to. And then my grandma's 90, so I'm getting, how you get the same stories for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting these new stories. And this new story of like how we got to Ohio, when she tells it, was absolutely labor trafficking. So it was interesting too to like, after joining the board, realizing, oh, wait a minute, I actually do have a connection to this work as well from a trafficking perspective.
Yeah. Isn't that just wild?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that that's probably resonant in so many of our histories. I mean, what I think about even with what my grandma went through, you know, she was more in that, you know, enslavement and almost indentured servitude kind of, you know, aspect. So I get that piece where you don't feel like you own anything, including your body, your time, your mind, any of that stuff. So I know how difficult that can be. So I applaud you for working with the team there, and I've had beautiful experiences with Freedom, and I love everybody there, and so I'm so glad you work there. But one of the things that you just said resonated with me so much is around your idea around board work, like you thought it was for old rich white men, and that's something that I'm very passionate about, is democratizing philanthropy for all people, and I think it's super important. Like even if you're donating $5 a month, y'all, it gets multiplied, and it is such a big deal for people to say, I want to give back this thing. So I'm not going to have Starbucks today. I'm not going to go out to eat today. I'm going to save my lunch money today, just give back to somebody. And the organizations know how to multiply those dollars.
That's right.
And so I just really encourage everybody to see yourself as a philanthropist.
I love this so much. So when I was going through Leadership Columbus, we had someone come in and present to us, and the first thing they said was, who in here gives with either time or monetarily? And like most of people raised their hands. It's like, who in here considers themselves a philanthropist? Right. One person raised their hand. He's like, the same people that raised their hand for the first question should be raising their hand for the second question. There's not a dollar amount. There's not a time amount. If you give in service to others, you are a philanthropist. So give not out of scarcity, but just give out of what you feel compelled to give.
Right.
And the other thing, too, about board work, super important. I think sometimes people also think that they're not doing enough. I would implore anyone that's thinking about it or wanting to do it, find an organization that you feel drawn to and compelled to, and be very clear about why you're there. Why do you want to be there, and why do they want you there? And it should be aligned with who you are, your talents, your gifts. You know, what do you bring to the table? What are you bringing to the table?
So when you're getting clients, especially your individual clients, like what are some of the questions they need to be asking themselves to see if they're ready to actually be coached? Because we just talked about a lot about not feeling like you're ready to see the truth of yourself. So what are some of the things they need to do to prepare themselves to be ready to act, not just obtain and get awareness, but act?
My first question in my screening before I even meet with them, what is your intention? And how do you define success? Which we usually end up, everyone's stuck on that. And that's what we end up starting the coaching at. Because we are also, again, remember my check boxes?
Yeah.
That was success because someone told me. You know, my grandma, I grew up with my grandma saying sacrifices were made for you to be here. And so therefore you owe it to us too. But that didn't get me my pot of gold. So, but defining it for myself. What are my values? Living by my values, spending time with my kids, setting them up financially for success, time freedom, all those things. Now I can define what success looks like to me, and it helps me make decisions when I get stuck and when I'm in a transition. Those are the two main questions.
I love that. And I think that's so important. The success piece is absolutely paramount. When I did the Goldman Sachs 1 Million Black Women, that's one of the things they talked about is like, what does success look like for you? And I realized very quickly, I don't want an enterprise, multiple businesses. I want to be able to fund my trip budget and take care of my bills.
That's right.
And live happily with my husband and my kids. That's
right.
it. Like, I don't want to be a gazillionaire. Yeah. I just want to be able to have the lifestyle that I want to have.
Yep.
And I think that's okay.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't want to build a Microsoft or Google or Amazon.
That's
like,
right.
They just want to be able to take care of the family. And I want to be able to give back, obviously, because I love giving to my community.
Yes.
So I love that fact that you want to tell people what does success look like for you? Not what somebody told you, but what you actually want. So one more question for you, I think, would be really helpful. You know, you had a successful career in corporate spaces before you decided to go out on your own. Like, what was the thing that made you say no to corporations and yes to yourself to be your own entrepreneur?
Well, the short answer is they pissed me off. They pissed me clean off. the expanded version of why is I kept finding, towards the end of my tenure, I kept finding myself in these situations as one of the only Black leaders. I was in training and development, so I was the face that they met, one of the first faces that they met, and people felt very comfortable. I think one of my gifts is I create safety, right, and presence for people, and so people felt very comfortable to come and share grievances, concerns, and I got to a point where I couldn't do anything with it. When I would go to my leadership team, they would kind of brush me off. And then I'd then have to relay this message to someone and kind of like, but like, that's not cool. I don't agree. Like, I don't agree. So like, you know, but also like, this is what they said. And I hate that. I hate this is what they said. I don't agree, but I'm still the messenger.
Right.
So I'm still a part of it.
Right.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah.
So that let me know, oh, my values are misaligned. This is no longer working.
And that's a good question for people to ask themselves, too. Like, I have a couple of friends who are I call them, they got the golden handcuffs because they're working in some government places and they've been there for a very long time and they want that pension and they're miserable. They're miserable.
At what cost?
But that's the thing. I said, so you can wait another 5-10 years to get that pension and you might be dead. So you might not even get to enjoy that life, but you want to suffer through right now. I'm
That's
like,
right.
baby.
No.
No.
And this is a false sense of security.
Yes. Yes.
These organizations ain't thinking about you.
Baby.
They are slicing and dicing based on their revenue
Correct.
needs.
Correct.
I wish I would.
Girl.
I wish I would. Now, baby, it feels good to get that check every other Friday when
does.
you know that thing is hitting.
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
And at what cost?
At what cost? And that's the cost, right?
Yep.
That is it. 100%. Well, if people want to get in touch with you, Varsey, how can they do that?
Hit me up on my pager. No, I'm just playing.
Beat me 411, baby. Okay, Kim Possible.
You might have just outdated some of our audience. They're probably like, what the hell's a pager?
They done switched to another podcast
Exactly.
now. I lost them all. Well, we at the end. Oh, well, we got you. First, the website, VarseyLaurelle.com. That'll give you more information to just all the offerings that I have, the coaching, advising, mediation, facilitation, speaking engagements, and then LinkedIn, same name, TikTok, and Instagram. One thing I think that you will love, the hard truths. I post a hard truth video and I have gotten a lot of great feedback about that, as well as subscribing to my monthly newsletter, which you can subscribe on the website.
I love that. I love that. And are there any events or anything coming up that people can catch you at?
Nothing I can think of at this moment.
Okay.
But if you see me out and about, please, like, say hi. Don't be weird. I'll try not to be weird. And come up and say hi. I like to meet new people. I love people. I don't like everyone, but I do love everyone.
That's right. And don't call her La. And don't call me Varsey.
Or
Listen.
Varsity. Don't call me Varsity.
Varsity Blues. Thank you, Varsity, for coming and joining our JV league today.
Yes. Come on.
Hey, can I just add, I've never felt shorter my whole life with you two in the room. So.
Aw, bless his heart.
But he has a long back, so
I got a long
that
back.
means
Period.
something. Yeah, with a long back. Brian, tell people how they can get in touch with us.
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, or you can email us at embwpodcast@gmail.com.
Well, thank you all for being here, Varsey. We loved having you here, and I just love you so much. Thank you
Love
for
you.
all that
Appreciate
you're doing
it.
for this
Thank you
beautiful
both.
world.
Yes.
Thank you.
too.
We'll see y'all later.
Peace.